So don't take that.
We won't take the...
Yes, let's be the
Pods
in
Episode 54 of Pods in the
Key of
Springfield.
You wanted to switch things up a bit, did you? From the usual Pods in the Key of Springfield.
Yeah,
dynamic that we've developed.
Yeah, I thought the other day, I was like, I reckon we used to switch it up at the start, and we haven't switched it up for ages.
Yeah, you're worried about the podcast getting stale.
Yeah,
Yeah.
much like the carbs I load.
Yeah, which might be in the Sting.
Stale carbs.
That might be a callback to a thing that might be in the Sting.
I don't care where things are. I'll still make references to them.
That's how you keep things fresh, baby.
Yeah, exactly. And I fill it with yoga mats or whatever Subway allegedly had in their bread. Today we're looking at Season 5, Episode 14, Lisa versus Malibu Stacy. And then we also have Season 5, I've written Episode 14 twice, Season 5, Episode 15, Deep Throat Homer.
Deep Throat Homer? Is that the one where he uncovers the Nixon scandal?
I believe so, yeah.
Okay.
No, wait, Deep Space Homer.
Okay. So
one
it's different
where-
from... What about Deep Dish Homer? The one where he makes all the pizza?
Oh, like a Chicago pizza.
Yeah. Oh, I'm making pizza over here.
I have to say, I've never had Chicago deep dish, but every picture I see of it, I go, "Whoa, not for me, thanks."
Wouldn't be your kind of thing, I think. I don't think it would meet your pizza standards.
I don't think it would meet my pizza standards.
I feel like you have specific things you want out of a pizza, and I don't think Chicago Deep Dish
I agree.
achieves them.
I'd like to wait. Do you think you know what my specific things are? Or
No,
you
I just
know
think
that I
you
have
would be specific about...
Yeah,
Yeah,
okay.
you would have rules.
Yes, cool.
Yeah.
Sorry, I didn't mean to set that up as in I'm going to criticize you if you get my rules wrong. I just wanted to know if you thought you knew them or if you just knew they existed.
I mean, we had pizza, like an hour and a half ago?
Yeah.
And when the pizza arrived, you looked at it and said very distinctly, this looks like American pizza.
It does, because it looks like, I don't know, American pizza in TV shows has this weird, incredibly greasy look to it that I
does.
feel like Australian pizza doesn't really have.
Pizza on American television always looks like cartoon pizza.
Cartoon pizza, exactly.
Yeah.
It looks
It's
like...
just like one big slice with like 4 pieces of pepperoni on it. It's meant
Yeah.
to be a full meal.
Yeah, I don't understand American pizza.
Never understood why Americans... This is based largely on like perception of watching television. It seems like whenever you're watching American TV, they eat huge meals, except if they eat pizza,
Yeah,
where they don't eat enough of it.
yeah.
And I've had pizza in Los Angeles, and it was basically the same as pizza here. But I know that's not the universal pizza system.
But see,
They don't have universal pizza over there like we do.
But see, isn't there... It's a strange one, because I know it's a very American concept to get a slice, right?
Yeah.
A single slice. I've always assumed that was a snack thing, but I saw something on the internet a while ago where what they call a personal pizza
Yeah.
is the size
Your
of...
own personal pizza.
What they
Reach out and take a slice.
what they call a personal pizza, I believe, is the equivalent of our large. And
Yeah.
so I feel like if they sit down to what they call a personal pizza, I mean...
Well, do they not have the small pizza? We have a lot of American listeners. If one of them could give us some pizza lesson. I mean,
Yeah.
teach us how to pizza.
Yeah,
Teach us your pizza ways.
yeah.
Our American listenership has dropped recently. Have we gone too hard?
Fucking...
It's probably fine. So, Lisa versus Malibu Stacy
Yeah, sure.
was written by Bill Oakley and Josh Weinstein. I wanted to look up the writers of this episode because I feel like this episode is very well written.
Oh.
So I looked them up, and then I looked a bit more into Bill Oakley, who I see around on Twitter quite a bit. He does
Inventor of the sunglasses.
exactly. He does like restaurant reviews on Instagram. He's a funny dude, and then
What are his thoughts on pizza?
good question,
go
Bill
look it up.
Oakley. If you'd like to come on and talk about pizza, we'd love to have you. But I saw a photo of him from 2008 on his Wikipedia, and I looked and like, oh, he looks like a handsome version of me.
What?
He's like the alternate universe version of me that is like handsome and a writer on The Simpsons.
Hang on, let me look this up.
Okay, you're gonna look
Bill
up.
Oakley. Oh shit, he's a handsome version of you.
Yeah.
And to be clear, you're not a bad looking dude.
But Bill Oakley, right? 2008 era Bill Oakley.
Is that the one? that
Yeah.
you saw? Yeah.
Yeah, he does look like me, right? But
Fuck.
yeah.
Yeah, all right. I'm confused about both you and him now.
Well, this is who I would want to play me in, like, the movie about my life.
Sure.
Which would mostly just be me at this point, just waking up late and trying to apply for jobs. But yes, Bill Oakley, who I feel like is one of the... Bill Oakley and Josh Weinstein are two of the writers who pop up a lot in conversations about the golden era.
Bill Oakley pops up a lot.
They eventually left to do Mission Hill, I think, and some other stuff. I didn't look into it too deeply, but they're a couple of good boys, I think.
I feel like if you look at older pictures of Bill Oakley, he appears to be older then than he is now.
Yep.
Like
he was aging in reverse.
Like, is that him on the left? That's an older picture, judging by the
him?
glasses. I don't know, because the other one's got to be...
That's a different person, though.
But it says Bill Oakley. Oh no, it says Sam Simon. Get out of my office. Alright, never mind. I didn't read the caption properly.
So this episode, Lisa versus Malibu, Stacy.
Yeah.
Is it just me, or is this a really fucking good episode?
It is.
Yes.
Which is interesting, because I don't like Malibu, the coconut-infused rum. And so I decided on that basis that this episode would not be that good.
So you're sitting there with your arms crossed, huffing the entire time?
Yeah.
Harumph, harumph.
You know the really frustrating part? I have half a bottle of Malibu in my fucking spirits cupboard.
That doesn't surprise me, yeah.
Because someone brought it around here and left it. And then as they left, I was like, ugh.
Is that the one that you've been infusing with pineapple?
No, that's just straight rum.
Okay.
But I've got Malibu, which is the coconut rum. But, I mean, it's awful.
Yeah, it's not great.
Do you want me to mix you a Malibu? I'm trying to get rid of it.
Maybe later.
Alright.
Malibu is like a starter rum, I think.
A starter rum.
It's the rum you have at the start of your rum journey where you're like, oh yeah, I could see myself enjoying rum on a conceptual level, and then you have good rum, and you're like, oh, well, rum is great. I love rum, by the way.
I don't think Malibu's a starter rum. I think it's a second tier. Because I think the first rum that everyone has is, in Australia anyway, is Bundaberg.
I feel like when I was coming of age, Malibu was like the thing that people would drink.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting.
It had that, I think it was largely a marketing thing. They marketed quite well to, probably especially like 18, 19, 20-year-old girls, I think they marketed to very well.
Yeah,
so that would just like be at the party.
Yeah, it was an at-the-party drink. No one ever claimed that they brought it. It was always just there somehow.
Yeah.
It materializes at parties.
It was always like your friend Sarah had brought Malibu.
Yeah, very much our friend Sarah had brought Malibu. You can always find it materializing in the kitchen at parties.
If you're between the ages of 17 and 21.
Sure.
Yeah. I haven't seen a bowl of Malibu at a party in a very, very long time at this point. Everyone's bringing, sherry now. Not to mention Terry.
Oh, I see what you did there.
Yeah,
Sorry.
she's got kids just for stay at home.
Oh.
Yeah. So this episode opens with the old folks meeting Matlock.
Yes.
Now, I feel like there was a point as a kid where I thought Matlock was just a real person.
I did too.
Yeah.
Yep. And I guess the tricky part is they refer to MacGyver a lot. Now,
Yeah.
MacGyver is a real TV show, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
But I don't think Matlock is.
No. And I find it very strange that the only two TV shows to which they consistently refer, one of them's fake, one of them's real, and there's no reason for the distinction.
Just realised that I should do the most cursory of Googles to make sure that this is all true.
Are you Googling for curses?
Matlock is an American televised legal drama starring Andy Griffith in the title role of criminal defense attorney Ben Matlock.
So it's fake.
No, it's real.
It's real.
Yeah. It's a real show.
What we meant though, James, I'm going to save us here. It's
Cool.
fine. What we meant though is that it's fictional.
Yeah, sure. That's what we meant.
Yeah. So it's not like MacGyver, which is a documentary.
Yeah, where events occur in real time.
Matlock is indeed fictional. What's another way of saying fictional? You could say fake. You could say not real.
Yeah, not real.
Okay. So
It stars Andy Griffith.
So we were correct all along.
Yeah, as we are with all things.
Yeah.
And nobody ever has any reason to tell us we're wrong about anything.
And frankly, if they did, I wouldn't listen.
So I guess that was Andy Griffith walking up on the stage that they storm and defeat.
Who's Andy Griffith? Is that Merv Griffin?
No, he's like an old guy.
Oh.
He was, I don't know, he was on something else. Maybe he wasn't. Does he pop up in Arrested Development or they just joke about him? You know what? Doesn't matter.
Excellent question.
Thank you. Thank you, PlayStation.
Thank you, PlayStation.
Something that I was thinking about a lot during this episode, after the whole Matlock scene, by the way, I really like how coordinated all the old people are, with that, "We love you, Matlock." Oh, yes, we do.
Yes.
I like that. It's good.
It's fun.
I've been thinking about Dan Castellaneta's performance as Grandpa while watching this episode.
Yes, alright.
Really good voice.
Yeah.
Great work on Grandpa. Yeah.
Okay.
You have a hard time when I just praise the show.
I do.
It's fun. I enjoy it.
I'm not sure what I'm supposed to do other than go, yeah, it's a fine voice. Cool. Weirdly, I think Grandpa's voice is one of the few things in the universe that I don't have an anecdote to spin into immediately.
Oh, that's ironic, because he's all about spinning anecdotes, son.
That's a very good point.
Ah,
You could almost call him Jenny with the amount of yarn that he spins.
because he's from the block?
No, the device for spinning yarn is called a spinning Jenny.
Oh, okay. Are you sure? Because that seems like a thing you made up. But I'm sure you're telling the truth. You don't need to look it up. So Grandpapa realizes he's an old man, decides to give the family a bunch of money. They go to buy some toys. Interesting little note on what happens. You're showing me a picture of the spinning Jenny. I get it. I understand.
It's a multi-spindle winder, James.
Multi-spindle winder.
Isn't
Okay.
that the guy that plays Sherlock?
Multi-spindle winder.
I was trying to do a Benedict Cumberbatch joke.
Yeah. Meanwhile, for some reason, I'm singing Money, Money, Money in my head, but with multi-spindle winder. It doesn't work. Not a joke.
Multi-spindle winder, couldn't find a resolution here. Oh. Weirdly enough, that worked.
Kind of.
Kind of.
So, they're running around the toy shop, and Grandpapa
Oh wait, before we
Simpson-
get to the toy shop,
Yes.
after the Matlock thing, Jasper says that Grandpa has swiped Matlock's pills. I really enjoy that when the ambulance drives past to show Matlock in cardiac arrest, the ambulance has a very, very, very big window on the side, so we can see everything that's going on inside the ambulance.
Yeah, it's one of those viewing ambulances.
Yeah, I enjoy the learning ambulance that drove past.
Yeah, that just goes from city to city. It's like the life education van we had as youngins.
Oh, with Harold.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
That's a thing in Australian schools. They cram you in a van, and
we
a
gonna
giraffe
get it?
teaches you how to have safe sex, I think.
Are we gonna... More than that, it was also like, you know...
How to turn down cigarettes when they get offered to you.
Yeah, like role-playing about, like, oh, no thanks, I don't want any drugs.
Yeah. And, he didn't rap, but he could have.
And then
It was always on the verge of him breaking into a rap.
at the end of the session within the life education van, they open up the door to back to the outside world. The sunlight floods in, and you go, oh, fuck, oh, it's so bright. And then just as you're about to disembark this bus, they open a crate that the fucking host has been sitting on, and it's full of oranges, and you grab yourself an orange.
Yeah. Oranges, the messiest fruit imaginable.
Yeah. Who gives primary school children oranges?
Give them apples.
Give them a banana.
Yeah. Not an orange. You're going to have fucking pulp everywhere.
Yeah, there will be so many pith incidents on the day of the oranges.
What a pithy anecdote.
Yes.
Yes. So Grandpapa, they're in the toy shop.
Full of pith and vinegar.
Yes. He starts breaking stuff. He throws down a bunch of toy soldiers and starts stepping on them. Now this is interesting because as of recording, the latest episode of The Simpsons to release in the US, episode 650 of The Simpsons, which is just
we're
released.
so far away.
Reveals, I believe, my understanding, haven't seen it, but my understanding is that it reveals that Grandpa Simpson was the model they used for all the green toy soldiers. They're all based on Grandpa Simpson in the universe of The Simpsons.
Stepping on tiny plastic iterations of himself.
Yeah, but we don't find this out for another, 570 odd episodes.
But on the basis that, according to my theory, all the timelines are happening at once.
Of course.
These are not chronological events. They all happen simultaneously. Or not they all happen simultaneously, but it's just a smattering of events that don't happen chronologically. That means Grandpa would know that they're based on him. The audience doesn't know yet.
But Grandpa's well aware.
Grandpa does. And yet he chooses to step on. And actually, you know what? This is an episode in which Grandpa realizes
His own mortality.
His own mortality.
Yeah.
Therein lies a metaphor in which he is crushing his own bodily representation, saying, you are worthless to me. You mean nothing to me any further.
Be gone, ye mortal body.
Upon you I stamp. My beslippered foot.
This is potent stuff. This is, of course, a metaphor baked into this season 5 episode.
Are you talking about the Malibu that I mixed for you?
A real Malibu. Yes.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's an odd little thing. The episode sounded okay, actually, the Mon one. I guess we'll get to it eventually.
Just going back a moment to before the toy shop. So Grandpa decides that because he's on the verge of death, he's going to start giving people their inheritances now so they can see them.
Yep.
He gives to Lisa all his correspondence and cards. My question, didn't they burn down in the cabin in the Hamptons? We covered that in episode 42. Remember when we covered the Cheever letters?
Yeah, they burnt the Cheever letters, but I guess the Karloff letters survived because he has the letters from Boris Karloff.
I guess so. And actually, I did just talk about how, in my theory, these aren't necessarily chronological. They're all happening at the same time. So, I mean, it could be the different thing. Maybe those are the letters that burned. Who knows? Maybe he kept the Cheever letters separate from the Karloff
Maybe there's
letters.
a second cabin.
On the grassy knoll.
Well, you got the White Lodge, you got the Black Lodge, you got the Pocket Universe, Sneaky Peeks.
We are like the dreamer who dreams and then lives inside the dream.
Sneaky Peeks.
The walk-on piano floor, is that a real thing? Because I feel like this is referenced in so many discrete pieces of pop
It's from
culture.
the movie Big, starring Tom Hanks as Big.
Yeah, but is it a real thing? Like,
Yeah, it's in one specific toy store. They have the big piano.
Right.
And it's in the movie Big, a movie I haven't seen, but there's like a... What's that really big toy store in like New York? I think it's in there.
I don't
The one
think
that's also in Home Alone 2?
I don't think it's there, because it must be in Springfield, because the Simpsons live in Springfield, not in New York.
Huh, interesting. So you're saying it must be in Texas, so this must be a different...
I'm saying that Big and Home Alone are both set in southern Texas.
Okay. Home Alone 2, was it Lost in New York, I think is the subtitle of that movie.
Well, of course he's lost in New York, because he doesn't fucking live there. He lives in southern Texas.
Yeah, okay, so he's lost in New York. And if you look at the keychain, it says Moon Room. Fake the moon landing. This has been... No, we don't have a sub-podcast about Kubrick faking the moon landing yet, do we?
I was about to say, this doesn't sound like a sneaky peek.
No, it's a Kubrick fake the moon landing. We'll come back to that later, though.
This is...
Have I talked about the documentary Room 237 on this podcast, or was that all a bunch of nonsense for the listener?
No, we talked about it in the Shining episode, didn't we?
Yeah, of course we did, yeah.
Yeah.
Listen to that episode and watch the documentary Room 237, which is very funny.
Sure.
Yeah. Did you have any favourite toys as a kid? This episode, bunch of toys. Did you play with... I don't imagine you playing with toys.
Did I... Nick, I can't imagine you having fun. Did I have a favourite toy?
Like, you have, like, tchotchkes around the place, but they seem like amusing things for you to point at more than anything you would play with.
You are very correct that I enjoy collecting things so that I can point at it and produce an anecdote. Like somewhere in a box downstairs. Fuck, I don't think I've told this on the podcast yet. And this is such a demeaning insight into what a fucking tedious person I am. So I was once in a toy aisle near the big rack of all the display of Hot Wheels cars. And you know the little, like, they hang on a cardboard tab and the car sits at the bottom. And it was one of those things, you know how sometimes your eye picks out a detail that it shouldn't be able to. Like, I don't know, if you imagine opening a double-page newspaper spread and you find the one typo on the page instantly, that kind of like laser sight focus in. I noticed the box said Chevrolet Corvette, but the car inside it was a Dodge Viper. And there was the first car I noticed in a wall of cars, and I went, I'm buying that. And I walked over, bought it, and I've kept it somewhere. It's downstairs in a box. And I used to have it on display, so I could point at it and be like, oh, you know, this, it's not the car that the box says it is.
I love that this even counts as an anecdote.
I'm not sure anymore.
Mispackaged toy. Are you sure somebody didn't just, like, change the packaging around on this?
I didn't change the packaging.
I'm not saying you did. Maybe someone in the store did. Some miscreant.
I wouldn't have thought so, because like there's a Hot
Like
Wheels...
maybe the other one scanned cheaper.
There's a Hot Wheels Beatles yellow
Yep.
submarine there.
Yep.
The way that Hot Wheels packaging works is it's non-reversible.
Oh, yeah,
It's
sure.
non-reversible.
Yeah, okay, yep, I get you.
Once you undo it, you're not faking it back up again.
You know what would be fantastic, though, is if you look at that toy and realize, no, that is the right car.
Definitely
I've been
not.
wrong the whole time.
Definitely not.
But I'm planting the seed.
Oh, so it's going to be a Berenstain Bears type moment for me. It's going to
Sure.
be the Nelson Mandela effect, but on my fucking Dodge Viper.
Nelson Mandela effect.
The Mandela effect.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's named after the Nelson Mandela. So.
The Invictus effect, sure.
The I Am Robot effect. Wait, no, the Shazam effect. Favorite toy. I remember a green remote control car,
Sure.
which was
Like the one from Toy Story?
no, it was like it actually looked like a Rocket League type car,
Like
or
the one from Toy Story.
or like a supersonic acrobatic rocket powered battle cars type car. But that was fun in extremely short bursts, because it was one of those things where rechargeable battery technology wasn't very good in the early
Sure.
90s. So you'd recharge it for 9 hours and get maybe 10 minutes of fun. I also remember having a Scalextric, I believe is the correct pronunciation,
yes.
Scalextric track, which was the Mount Panorama / Bathurst track. And it came with little things, little kind of H-frame stands that you put them in certain parts on the track, so you could actually get the track to go up and down in the way that the actual Mount
I
Panorama
remember
track
that.
does.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was... I didn't have that, but at least one of my cousins had it.
Yeah.
Possibly two of them.
Also, to any international listeners who don't know what Mount Panorama is, have a look on YouTube for V8 Supercars Bathurst, because it's a little bit like NASCAR, except instead of spending the whole time kind of turning left, they race up and down a mountain. And it's very impressive.
If you just go to Google and type in Mount Panorama, you'll just get a panorama of a mountain.
That's true.
Yeah. What toys did I had a...
Did you have a favourite toy, co-host James?
I had a Power Rangers sword that I was very attached to.
Oh, go Power Rangers.
Yeah, and I think my favorite... Go Power Rangers.
What colour Power Ranger were you when you cosplayed with the sword?
I think it was the White Ranger. You know, the one... Power Rangers was a dumb show, but they'd always be like... At any point of the plot, there'd be like the one Power Ranger who was like the mysterious one who would only pop up when they really needed him, and he'd have like some sort of mystical item. Be it a sword or a flute.
I can very much... Who's winning battles with a flute? I can very much see the appeal in you being the White Ranger in that little... what's that word I want?
I guess when you say White Ranger, you don't want to call him the White Power Ranger.
No.
That's the
Oh my
thing.
god. No,
Yeah.
you do not want
No.
to... No one wants to be Blair Cottrell.
No. Fuck you, Blake Cottrell, you fuck. You fucking grease fucking piece of shit. Anyway,
Jesus.
if you don't know who Blake Cottrell is, he's an Australian stain that we are hoping to clean out of our national garment.
Speaking of interesting people in the public eye,
Yep.
I don't know if this is jumping too far ahead, but there was a line that Lisa says to the talking Malibu Stacy, because
Yep.
of course one of the central tenets of this episode, one of the central pillars around which the story is built, is that Malibu Stacy finally talks, but she
Yep.
spouts things that Lisa deems to be rubbish.
Yeah.
And Lisa says, "I've waited my whole life to hear you speak. Don't you have anything relevant to say?" Never have I felt my experience of joining Twitter so relevantly summed up.
Oh my
Because-
god, I've got a note on that as well in this episode.
Because in my first month of joining Twitter, I was like, I'm going to follow all those famous musicians that I like. Their lives are exciting and fun. And then I've been disappointed by all of them.
So many... I don't follow a lot of famous people on Twitter because I found the ones that I did follow would spend most of their tweets just trying to show off how many famous friends they had.
Interesting.
Because they were always like, you know, famous but not super famous. So they'd always just be like, tagging the other famos who loved them in their tweets, like, "Oh, thanks, Chris Tucker. Can't wait to see you soon, friend." And it'd be like that.
Sure.
Yeah.
Who's Chris Tucker?
He was Rush Hour.
Oh, okay.
He was the guy in Rush Hour.
Sure.
He was, Russian. He made a lot of money off those Rush Hour movies.
Was that Jackie Chan, the other
Yeah.
co-lead?
Yeah, Jackie
Right.
Chan.
So you were following Jackie Chan and he was saying, "Hey, Chris Tucker, look forward to the next Rush Hour."
Here's the thing, I was actually going to follow up by saying, I was following Jackie Chan. I thought, I love Jackie Chan too much to make that joke.
Oh, so you're not prepared to throw Jackie Chan under the bus?
Jackie Chan would fucking annihilate me if I threw him under a bus. He would just go flat, the bus would drive over, he would leap up, grab onto the back of the bus, and then as the bus went past me, he would leap off it and kick me in the face.
Is this a Kickstarter? Because I'll donate to it. I mean, I don't actually want to see you get kicked in the face. We'll use a stunt, James.
Have you ever seen Police Story?
We'll use Bill Oakley. He can be your stunt double for getting kicked in the face.
Just make him more handsome somehow. Have you seen Police Story, though? We should watch Police Story.
Police Story?
Police Story.
No. Was that a song that some cops commissioned Taylor Swift to do as a cover of Love Story?
No.
No. All right.
It's a Jackie Chan movie.
Just checking. Oh, no, it's a movie.
Yeah.
We're not going to do
That's
that.
why I said it's scene.
We're not going to do that as 22 Flims.
No, it's not really relevant.
Well, I'm not watching a movie outside 22 Flims.
I have been thinking, for 22 Flims, at some point I'm just going to have to start tricking you into thinking movies are relevant.
I was actually thinking that at the end of season 5, I've got a movie that we should do for 22
Oh, do you?
Flims, and I'm not going to tell you what it is. So if you're willing
It's
to...
not just Muppets Christmas Carol, is it?
It might be. If you're... If you're willing to entrust me with the keys to 22 Flims, I've got a nice one up my sleeve that I think we might...
Okay, you just looked up at your shelf while saying that, but there's no DVDs there.
I didn't look up at my shelf.
Look, I just see a copy of the Simpsons movie.
I didn't look up at my shelf.
Yeah, I don't know. Now you're looking down. That copy of Love the Beast. Just right here.
I forgot that was there. Oh, man, that was closer than I thought. Look, we're actually just going to watch The Dream with Roy and HG.
The Sydney 2000 Olympic
Olympics.
Games commentary special.
Yeah, the satirical nightly comedy show filmed during the Sydney 2000 Olympic Games.
Sure, why not?
I've been missing your strawberry kisses.
Okay, so at one point in this episode, Grandpapa Simpson realizes he wants to, he wants to be a bit more energetic. He wants to get out there a bit more. And he sees an ad on TV for Buzz Cola.
Yes.
And gets excited, he drinks it, the bubbles burn his tongue. This got me thinking. We've got Duff in The Simpsons.
Yeah.
Duff is like the established beer brand. It's a big brand of the show. We got the Squishy. That's the frozen drink. Everyone drinks it. Everyone has a good time. What are you laughing at?
Squishy, that's the frozen drink. Sorry, I just enjoyed it as a slogan.
Yeah, so we've got Duff. We've got the Squishy.
It's so thick.
It's so thick. And then we got Buzz Cola. But I feel like Buzz Cola really falls down as the third pillar in the drink pyramid of The Simpsons. I feel like they don't go back to Buzz Cola very often.
No, they don't. It plays it plays the smallest part in the triptych of beverages, doesn't it?
Yeah. And I think that's strange because it's not following the rule of threes. You gotta have three things.
Well, they have three things. They just don't pivot on Buzz as often.
Yeah, one of them's letting the side down. It doesn't really feel like a triptych.
That's interesting. They don't really drink Buzz Cola, do they?
No.
No. Sorry, I'm just scanning my internal Frinkiac, which is very poxy,
My.
looking for any references to Buzz. Is it a Buzz ad or is it a Duff ad where there's a bunch of feminists protesting?
That's Duff.
That's Duff.
That was back last season.
Oh yeah, wow.
Yeah.
Buzz really gets Buzz. Your circulation, woof.
Should we get our own talking dolls commissioned? James and Nick, posting the Kia Springfield official merchandise.
Jesus.
Don't ask me. I'm just a podcaster.
That's good. What would I say? Fuck.
Yeah, that would be one of your lines. Yep. Let's put some reverb on that.
Oh, no, wait. I've actually got one that my dog could do.
Patty.
Woozle wuzzle.
Insert line from show.
Big shoes to fill.
And the great part about that is that...
That's your pronunciation, not the show's as well. That's
Yeah, but I also enjoy the idea that we could maybe do some... I'm not sure what talking doll technology is like. Look, I realise it's my fault that I haven't kept up with the market, but anyway, be that as it may. I'm not sure what talking doll technology is like, but it'd be good if there was some kind of Wi-Fi bridge connectivity situation, so that if you had the James and the Nick dolls near each other, and one of them said, "Big shoes to fill," the other one, without requiring activation, says, "Big shoes to fill."
Well, the great thing is if you get both of them, they can actually record their own podcasts.
Oh, that's a really good point. And then you and I are made entirely redundant, which,
Yeah.
let's be honest, we're not far off it anyway.
I mean, on some weeks one of us hasn't been able to make it, and we've just used a soundboard of the other one to... I don't know if the listeners have noticed.
I did listen back to an episode recently where you said hot dog, what a lot of wieners, more often than I thought.
Hot dog, what a lot of wieners.
Yeah, I fucked the quote. Hot dog, what a lot of wieners.
What would that be in reference to?
That's like, wait, no, were you there that day? No, there was a day at the cricket where they were selling, one of the food trucks was selling a 2-foot long hot dog.
I doubt I was there. I've been to the cricket with you maybe once.
I know.
Maybe twice.
So there's a foot-long hot dog
Yep.
that's served in about a 9-inch bun.
Yeah.
So you've got a solid, inch and a half hanging out on either side of the bun. It's a bit... Actually, it might be a 6-inch bun. There might be 3 inches of it. Anyway, whatever. Everything's fine. But then there was a place selling a 2-foot-long hot dog. They literally sold so few of them that on the third or fourth day, they had a very scantily dressed model walking around carrying a 2-foot-long hot dog saying, "You know, you can buy this from just over there." It's like, no one wants that.
What a strange anecdote to have segued into fairly easily on this podcast.
I need to refill again.
Yep.
Sorry. You can keep talking.
I might also refill.
Yeah.
Do you want to bring you bring the bottle to you?
Yeah.
You want to get that fizz?
That's sweet fizz.
Alright, well this is all staying in, I think.
Yeah.
People like to hear the behind the scenes bits.
I'm surprised by how well people can hear how much I fucking drag my feet when I walk. Alright, here we go, listeners. Some more of me refilling my glass of sparkling mineral water.
I'm going to check my text messages.
Oh yeah.
I had 2 text messages. I'll reply to them in good time.
I couldn't pour on a vicious enough angle to get that of the bottle.
Well, you got to drink it and make that noise now. Don't do it. You'll make yourself sick.
I'm already sick. I'm sick in the head, man.
So Yardley Smith really slays in this one. Yardley's really fucking good in this episode of The Simpsons.
Is she Lisa?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, Yardley Smith is Lisa Simpson, and she is excellent. She does a great job, and we love her, and we want her on the podcast.
Yeah.
I actually have genuinely, seriously thought about reaching out to Yardley before, because she has her own podcast, and she's an adept at podcasting, and she's been on other Simpsons podcasts, and maybe I'll try to make that happen in 2019, that being the current year.
I read her book, My Life as an 8-Year-Old Girl.
Did you?
It's a joke about Nancy Cartwright with her book, My Life as a 10-Year-Old Boy.
Oh, is that that's a real book?
Yeah, it's a real book.
Okay.
From about 20 years ago.
Did you read it?
Should we do an episode where we read that book?
Almost definitely, we should.
Yeah, okay.
I bought that other book that we're meant to do an episode.
Guide to Life.
Yeah.
Maybe we need a spin-off for our books. What's that going to be called?
Pages in the Key of Springfield.
Yeah, that's not bad.
Yeah. We'll keep working on it. We can do that off air. That's
Yeah.
not interesting.
No,
well, it's
you're right.
very interesting because we're interesting people. But, okay, the line, Lisa, usually I tell you to stand up for what you believe in, but you've been doing that an awful lot lately, is so good.
Doesn't that feel like what the Louis C.K.'s are saying to the millennials?
Yes.
Yeah.
Fuck yes. It just, God, the whole, okay, you've done enough now. You can calm down a bit, when
Yeah,
people
yeah.
are, actually on something. working towards something good. Yeah, that line resonates. It's hard.
Resonates.
So Lisa having I don't think we even mentioned that, the doll is sexist. So
Yes.
she goes to the plant where they are made, and we see on the assembly line doppelgangers of Barney and Moe working
That's
at
interesting.
the plant.
Yeah.
Are these refugees of an egg flip universe?
Sorry, I'm just going to take a moment to focus on that phrase that I really like. Refugees of an egg flip universe.
Yeah, that's the name of the prog rock album I've been working on.
Fuck yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll put in a pre-order on Bandcamp. What was the question?
Well, are they?
I suppose so. I didn't see them or clock them as doppelgangers, but what we've learned from our experience in the Simpsons universe so far is that there's almost certainly some dodginess going on with timelines being crossed. So yes, I support your theory.
Yes.
I'll subscribe to your newsletter.
Please do.
Redirected to the junk folder, but I'll subscribe.
Yeah, well, that's fair.
Still a number.
I have a full page of notes left on this episode, so I guess I should try to run through some of these quick, because some of them are big notes as well, big important notes that will change the future of this podcast.
Right, okay.
The line, I'm a white male, age 18 to 49, everyone listens to, etc., etc. I didn't write it all down because everyone knows this line.
Yep.
The Homer line,
Yep.
nuts and gum together at last.
Yep.
Is this one of the most quoted lines in the show? Is this like right up there, do you think, as like one of those things that influenced actual society, in that it's a great sort of description of what life is actually like, just boiled down?
I feel like it is a line which very simply highlighted a problem, which is taking a long time to fix, but is slowly getting better.
Very slowly.
Very slowly.
Or I don't know if it's even getting fixed as much as acknowledged more openly as a problem.
Yeah, sure.
Because even here, like, it is still a joke. Homer's like,
Yes.
even though I'm a stupid white man, people will listen to whatever I say.
Yeah.
And, yeah, he's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I suppose I mean getting fixed in terms of it, very early stages of realizing that it is a thing that needs to be fixed.
Yeah.
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 But yeah, it's one of those interesting lines, especially like this episode seems to have a few lines which really encapsulate surprisingly modern issues.
Yes, they do.
Yes.
This episode feels very modern, except for the fact that Modern Simpsons is not very good. I mean, it feels like
Are you going to use the P word?
the P word.
Prescient?
Prescient. Yeah, I'd
Would you
use the
say
word prescient.
Yeah, would you say this episode feels prescient?
I would say that it's prescient.
Yeah, right.
Prescient in all my buttons.
If only we'd watched this episode in December, because then you could have had a Christmas prescient.
I guess so.
Yeah. Or earlier in December, a birthday prescient.
Well, as you know, we celebrate our holidays in January. You know, that's part of this podcast tradition and always has been.
Oh, yes, and
Yeah.
yeah, exactly. We've never done a Christmas episode before Christmas.
No. So Grandpa decides to go and get a job. And he gets one very fast and easily for somebody living in an assisted living facility.
And for someone, but he not only does he get it quickly and easily, he gets a job at what I assume is Krusty Burger.
Yep.
But appears to have not been given a single moment of training
Yeah.
because he doesn't know that there are French fries.
No, and he wraps his dentures into a burger and they bite someone, and
Yeah.
it's great. I like all the scenes of Grandpa working at Krusty Burger, even though it is part of one of my least favourite tropes, where somebody is able to just immediately, like, get a job,
Yeah.
but, like, having that job is portrayed as, like, this sort of lowly thing. Mm-hmm. But I don't know, it doesn't do it so hard in this one. It's just kind of, like, fun with Grandpa at the job.
Yeah, that's a good point.
So, Lisa's trying to track down Stacy Lavelle, the real Malibu Stacy, so she goes to visit Smithers.
Yes.
And Smithers is going to print an article with some details about her last known address, and we get the Mr. Burns screensaver saying, "Hello, Smithers, you are quite good at turning me on. I'm Mr. Burns."
Yes.
Why does that happen?
Is that a screensaver? Because
Yeah, I'm confused by it in general.
I've got a note here saying, did that happen when Smithers hit print? Because he hits a single key on the keyboard. We hear the computer beep. computers of that era typically were not turned on with a button on the keyboard. Like, I know now you can wake computers from sleep if you haven't turned them on, like, all that kind of stuff. But computers of that era, the ones that I will use, they all had, like, a big physical button, or even some of them had a switch. Like a proper, you had to flick a big power switch.
To spin the crank.
Yeah. Oh, it takes me right back to that was
it shutting down again.
That was such a good example of a late 90s modem sound. It wasn't. Everything's fine. So I don't quite know what that is. If it's a startup message, I don't know. I just find it weird. Because
he just says, I'll print you off a copy. He presses what I assume is meant to be the print button, and it plays this little message. And I don't know, I don't mind the little message thing. I think that's fun, but it doesn't make any sense, son.
Doesn't make any sense as far as IT logistics go, son.
So Smithers, if you'd like to get in touch with us and let us know what was going on. And then Nick, we get to the most important part of this episode, and maybe the most important part of the series so far.
Sure.
Where Stacy Lavelle...
Oh, here we go.
Lists her ex-husbands.
Yes.
And who is the fourth ex-husband?
The fourth is Dr. Colossus.
Dr. Colossus.
Could you put some reverb on me saying Dr. Colossus?
Is that you asked me to put on reverb, or is that you doing an impression of your action figure?
No, it was me asking a genuine edit request there.
Okay. So we meet.
It would be very funny if you tagged in now with like, it's editing Bay James here. Fuck off, Nick.
Editing Bay James here. It's fine. I did it. Good suggestion.
So look. Dr. Colossus is finally revealed. The Grand Master that's been working behind the scenes this whole time. We get our first glimpse of Dr. Colossus.
Such a throwaway glimpse, too.
Yeah, it's subtle.
And you know what is very interesting? What we've learned is that Colossus is the one pulling all the strings behind the universe that is The Simpsons.
Yes.
Or the universe in which The Simpsons exist.
Indisputably.
He's gone to great lengths to cover his identity and to keep himself secret. He doesn't want us on his trail. And I think to that end, it fits in that the first reference we get to Dr. Colossus is through a chance encounter with a spurned ex-wife.
Yes.
Through Lisa, the little 8-year-old protagonist, charging her way through on this mission. This was all just crazy happenstance. We weren't supposed to have heard of Dr. Colossus at this point. It's only with the benefit of hindsight, because you and I have seen other adventures upon which the Simpsons have
through
gone.
the veil, yes.
Through the veil, yes.
Yeah.
We've pierced the veil.
Yes.
It was through mere coincidence and happenstance that we were able to stumble across the visage of Dr. Colossus and get some insight into his hideous, treacherous ways.
Yeah, see upon his hideous visage, which we briefly glimpse as she pans across the photo montage of husbands.
Yeah, exactly.
And the thing is, it's moments later that we get more evidence of the grim work Colossus has been performing upon this city.
Sure.
Because moments later we meet her fifth husband,
Joe.
Yeah, Joe. When he storms in and says, "Stacy, I simply must have you back. Come with me in my mobile command unit." Now, this guy, he's like a G.I. Joe sort of figure, right?
Yeah.
Did you notice anything strange about the character model?
Gluten intolerant Joe.
Yes, sure. But did you notice anything strange about the character model?
Gastrointestinal Joe.
Yes, absolutely. But did you notice anything strange about the character model?
Yeah, he's when he first rocks up at the door, he appears to be about 9 foot tall. And then he walks closer to Stacy, and he's like regular Stacy height.
Yeah, there is that. There is the morphing sizes, which is certainly strange. The thing I'm talking about, though, did you look at his neck at all?
No, what was up with his
Did you
neck?
notice there was a clear line around his neck, indicating the sort of pivot point you might have on an action figure that allows you to move the head back and forth?
Fuck.
He is a doll that has been brought to life.
Is he a Pez dispenser?
I don't think he's a Pez dispenser.
Right.
I think he's more like an action figure.
Is Pez good?
Is Pez good?
I feel like Pez is really shit.
I don't know that I've ever actually eaten Pez.
Fuck!
I don't know that I've ever wanted to try Pez.
You've never had Pez?
I don't think so.
Fuck. Okay. I'm quite astounded by
Why
that.
did this start with you asking me? You say Pez is shit, but you're astonished that I'm not chowing down on it around the clock.
No. That's not what I'm astonished by. I don't expect you to subsist on an entirely Pez diet. Some people are going paleo, you're going Pezleo. That's not the case. No, I thought that Pez is shit, but I thought it was a staple amongst children because children don't have taste. They're morons, all of them.
That's true, universally and without question.
Universally. Yeah. I once had a couple of Pez dispensers in my pocket in a nightclub, and I was handing out Pez, and it was after about half an hour, I went, if security see me, are they going to assume I'm handing out drugs and absolutely throw the fucking book at me? And then so I decided to stop handing out Pez.
How did you go from Pez are for idiot children to one time I was handing out Pez in a nightclub and realised it would look like I was dealing drugs?
Because I'm an idiot child.
But I don't think he's a Pez dispenser. I think he's an action figure that Colossus has performed an experiment on to further torture his ex-wife.
Oh, interesting. Could it be possible, because I was about to call her Sally, that's not right, Stacy. Stacy seems very resolute that she's not going to get back with Joe.
Yes.
Do you think that maybe while they were together, Colossus performed this strange occurring that turned him into an action figure? And that she's like, well, I can't go back with you, you're an action figure.
Well, I think he was an action figure to begin with. I think he turned the action figure into a real man and loosed him upon his ex-wife.
I see. Right. Fuck, what a world.
Possibly he was channeling himself into this figure for a while, but then the natural instincts of the plastic took over. I don't know. It's hard to say with any certainty exactly what we're seeing here.
What are the natural instincts of plastic?
Well, to return to the ocean. That's why I throw all my plastics in the ocean.
That is the right thing to do.
Yeah. That is what they want and need.
You've heard it here first.
Yeah.
I think we picked that up from the Life Education van. Also...
just throw your plastics in the ocean.
Also, would you like an orange?
No.
Good.
I'll make so much mess.
I've not got one.
I'm too busy podcasting.
I can offer you a lemon.
So they make the Lisa Lionheart, and we get a scene where they're all talking about what they're going to call it. They settle on Lisa Lionheart, and all this time, Bart is jumping around in the background, desperate for attention while hurling insults.
Yep.
So Bart getting infuriated that no one is paying attention to him while the adults in the room discuss a feminist issue is the greatest representation of Twitter I've ever seen.
That is very good observation.
Yes, that is... It's like they knew exactly what was going to happen.
Yeah.
And then in the very next scene, we get Kemp Brockman talking about the doll on the news, and it takes up all the time he has, and he makes a throwaway comment at the end about the president being arrested for murder. Again, they know what's going to happen, I think. Then in the last scene, we get all the kids storming into the toy store, and they want Malibu Stacy with a new hat. They don't want Lisa Lionheart. Was the success of Lisa Lionheart dependent entirely on its performance at this one store?
Apparently.
Because the kids were actually very excited about the doll until they saw the new Malibu Stacy. Isn't it possible that at other toy stores where the display is different, this doll will sell fine?
Yeah. Yeah, that's a really interesting point.
Yes.
And also, Stacy says, yes, especially if that little girl... So one girl buys it. Yes, that's good, especially if that little girl pays $46,000 for that doll.
Yeah.
That seems like a very cheap startup.
That's extraordinarily cheap.
Yeah.
For the manufacturing. Look, I don't think they paid Lisa.
I don't think they paid Lisa.
I think Lisa... this is the thing, you know. This is an episode with a heavy feminist message that ultimately hinges on the exploited free labor of a young girl.
That's very interesting.
It's a great episode, but that also happens. Yeah. Yes. But yeah, wonderful episode. It kind of fucks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it a lot more than I thought it would.
Yeah. I like The Simpsons sometimes.
What?
Yeah.
Sorry, I've got that fucking song by Mumford and Sons in my head, but I'm changing it to Little Lisa Lionheart instead of Little Lion Man.
How does it go?
Little Lisa Lionheart, like every fucking Mumford and Sons song.
I don't know what that is.
But I don't want to talk about Mumford and Sons because didn't they meet with Jordan Peterson?
Did they?
I think so.
Yeah.
I heard that from somewhere.
I don't even know who they are, so fuck them. We'll leave them out.
You must know Mumford and Sons.
I don't know. I've heard of them.
They're that 12-piece country folk band that doesn't wash.
I don't know what any music is. It's like a constant point of contention.
That's true.
If you're like, oh, you're aware of this song? Like, no, I've never heard of that song. I don't know what that is. I've never heard Horses. I don't know what any of this shit is.
Yeah. Yeah.
I hear like, I don't know, 350 songs a year, which sounds like a lot, but it's not. There's so much music.
It's a very specific number that you've landed on.
Yeah.
Wait, are you saying that there are 6 days of the year that you don't go listen to a new song? Or is it
15 days.
Is it more clumpy than... Oh yeah, I can't count. Is it more clumpy than that?
So clumpy you could carve it. Reference to a dog food commercial from the 90s.
So clumpy, you can carve it. You know what the great part about that, though, is that in the world of the ad, the dog food would be called Clum.
That's a great name for a shit dog food.
Clum, your dog will be covered in it.
What an awful thing to say.
Season 5, episode 15. Deep Space Nine. I mean, Deep Space Homer.
Deep Space Homer. Have you ever seen the movie The Right Stuff?
That was about the Wright brothers and all the stuff they had. It was Marie Kondo telling the Wright brothers to get rid of their stuff.
I love that you went with the stuff they had, not the stuff they did. Yeah, sure, that's what it's about. Marie Kondo comes in and says, "Oi, get rid of that plane."
This biplane's got to go.
Does it give you joy?
It's cluttering up Kitty Hawk, you dumb fucks.
Have you watched anything by Marie Kondo?
Of course I haven't.
No,
watched
me neither.
anything
What
by
are we
Marie
doing
Kondo.
then?
I don't know. I think one day she's going to upgrade and become Marie Apartment, then possibly Marie Detached, and then maybe Marie 3-bedroom house. Is that a joke?
I think if you stopped at 3, it would have been.
Yeah.
Rule of threes.
So, at the start of this, we get
So you haven't seen The Right Stuff?
No, I haven't seen
Because
The Right Stuff.
I think this episode's a parody of that movie, but I haven't seen that either.
Then why is it got a reference to Deep Space Nine, another space movie?
I don't know. Deep Space Nine is not a space movie.
Is it not? What is it then?
It's like a... What is it, like a Star Trek series or something?
Oh, fuck, it is a Star Trek series. Yeah, you're right. Okay.
That's something we need to get right. Star Trek fans, they take issue with you getting things wrong.
I reckon if there's one thing we can learn from Poz and the Kia Springfield, it's that I don't care about the opinions of people on the internet. There is one thing that I got in today's viewing that I had never got before.
Sure.
At the start of the episode, we get the Employee of the Month awards.
Yep.
And
Have you ever won Employee of the Month, by the way?
No, it's not a thing that either of my workplaces have done.
Not mine neither.
Yeah, it's a bit depressing, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. I always find it weird, though, when you walk into, like, a local supermarket and they'll have, like, a framed picture of, you know, the guy who works at the deli and it'll say Employee of the Month. And it's like, oh, good on him and it's cute, but it's so twee. I don't want it on the walls of the supermarkets I visit.
Well, it's all part of, the capitalist struggle. It's all part of convincing the low-paid workers that their work is meaningful despite the fact that they're never going to get pay increase.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
That's fair. But when Smithers is emceeing these awards,
Yep.
he says that Monty Burns is about to come out and I want an awed hush.
Awed hush.
A-W-E-D. A hush in which you experience awe.
Yes.
I had always heard it as odd hush.
Oh.
O-double-D. A strange hush. And I was like, what a weird thing for this insufferable lackey to say, the boss is about to come out, I want you all to be silent, weirdly.
Yes.
And then today I was like, oh, and it says awed hush, not odd hush. Yeah, that's weird.
That's just one of those things where
It's one of those things.
You lock in
Just
on
one of those days.
You lock in on like your first and second viewing of the episode and then just view it that way forevermore.
Exactly.
Like The Raven.
Nevermore.
Exactly. Well, except the opposite, I guess.
Oh, you mean Evermore? They had they were a shit pop rock band. They had
Sure.
a song called something about light. You know how every fucking pop rock band has a song that's got light in the title?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, I do.
Anyway, whatever.
So Mr. Burns comes out and he says, "A shiny new donkey forever brings me the head of Colonel Montoya." Who is Colonel Montoya?
Is this a reference to the Princess Bride Diaries?
The Princess Bride Diaries? Are you mashing up the Princess Bride and Princess Diaries?
I didn't know which was which.
One's like...
Bridget Jones' Princess Diary Bride.
I think one is about Anne Hathaway being a princess, and the other's like a fantasy tale.
Yeah, I think...
I'm only familiar with Princess Bride.
Isn't the fantasy tale... Isn't that I am Indigo Montoya?
Yep, you killed my father, prepare to die.
Yeah. So is he a colonel?
Don't believe so.
Oh, all right.
He's just a guy.
He's just some guy.
He's played by... Why did I start that sentence when I'm not sure what the guy's name is?
Anne Hathaway.
It's not Anne Hathaway. It's the guy from Homeland.
Ah, Julie Andrew.
No.
She's also in Princess Diaries.
Is she?
Yeah, I think so.
Well, like Mary Poppins herself.
Yeah, Mary Poppins.
She's in Aquaman. She plays a racist Kraken.
All right, a bottle of black rum that's got some opinions.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Why do you keep linking everything back to rum tonight?
It's because I'm on day 10 of not drinking during January and I'm struggling.
Oh, man. Did I tell you about my friend Captain Morgan? What he did the other day?
Captain Morgan Freeman.
Yeah, so we went to Barbados. Yeah.
Climbed up Mount Gay.
Yes.
Yep, very good.
You know, etc., etc. Havana, you get the joke.
Ooh, come pretty mama. Bermuda, Bahama.
Cuba Libre.
Yes.
Yes. I've got a note here that says, carbon rod, silicon Todd, is that a thing?
Yes.
I guess that's the answer. That's a thing.
Ah, carbon rod, silicon Todd. This is... Oh, fuck, I've gone early here. I've got to think of another... This is titanium god.
Titanium god.
Fuck.
I really like that the central conceit of this episode is that space travel is really boring.
Is there any... Sorry, is there anything in... Is there any part in The Simpsons to which they refer to a silicon thing?
Yes.
Do they? What is it?
Okay, it's in the X-Files episode.
You had that so quickly.
Yeah, because this is what I was thinking of when they said carbon. Because Hibbert asks, is the alien carbon-based or silicon-based?
Oh, yes.
And
okay.
Homer says, the second one, xylophone.
Oh, yeah, okay,
Yeah.
cool. That's not quite going to get us there then. I wanted the second piece of Pods in the Key Springfield merchandise to be Rod's face photoshopped onto the carbon rod and then find a silicon object and put Todd's face on it. Inanimate carbon rod, inanimate silicon Todd.
And then under it, is this a thing?
Yeah, on the back of the shirt. Is this a thing? Ah, that's fun.
So space travel is really boring, is the loose
Basic
concept
premise.
they're working with. And I found this very funny because the space launch they're watching is just kind of like what every part of adulthood looks like when you're a kid, I think.
What, as in just like inexplicable...
Just like super
Tedium.
dry, just like two men talking about three other men.
Yeah. You're right, that is what all of adulthood is like.
Yeah.
It's funny, I remember being a kid and just like having moments where you go, how are you still talking to them? You've been here for 4 minutes.
I also feel like this is one of those things that convinced me as a child that maths was inherently boring. Was that like a thing for you? Were you convinced that maths was inherently boring as a kid?
I don't think I thought it was boring because I had a weird relationship with maths. I was very, 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 very not good at it. And then I became okay at it. And I enjoyed the rise of becoming okay, that I was like, maybe this will be my thing. Maybe I'll be a maths guy. And then realised I was well and truly out of my depth.
Sure.
So, I don't know, I never found it boring. But There was very little at school that I actually found truly boring.
I took the opposite trajectory, I think, where I was pretty good at maths up until some point in high school, where I just like hit the exact limit of like what I could possibly learn in maths, I think. And then, but also, it never even occurred to me until I was an adult, really, that people might actually legitimately like maths.
That's interesting.
Like, I really didn't even, like, cross my mind as a possibility that this was a thing people got something out of.
I remember one of my friends from high school went on to study maths at university.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And he was telling me that at one point during a lecture, when the lecturer was writing an equation on whatever device, probably a whiteboard, my friend, when he could see how the equation was going to resolve, became so impressed by the beauty of the equation that he genuinely started crying in the lecture.
Jesus.
I know. Have you ever felt an experience more foreign from your experience than crying in a maths... Well, okay, crying in a maths lesson probably is not that uncommon to most people, but crying at the beauty of the maths lesson...
No, I mean, like, I've cried at, like, movies and, you know, TV shows and the odd video game, a comic book once, but, you know, that's like...
Was that the comic book that we hunted for and then found in episode something?
No, but, you know, obviously that was a very emotional moment for not just me, but the nation.
And for Alex Goldman.
Yeah. But yeah, like, I guess... If you took, you know, if I could take the basic principles of what I enjoy about, like, the artistic things that I enjoy and applied them to maths as a thing that somebody might enjoy or find beauty in, I can kind of understand how you can be passionate about something.
Sure.
Even though that is obviously a very foreign idea. I know people who've said they've had meals so good they've made them cry.
Yeah, that's happened to me.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Wow, okay.
I also think, just going back to maths for a moment, I'm so glad that we spent such a long time learning how to calculate angles in triangles, as opposed to things like, here's how to do your tax. Because I don't know about you, but every time June 30 rolls around and it's all of a sudden it's fucking triangle season and you got to get your triangles done, I'm so glad that I have that knowledge up my sleeve.
I think my accountant's probably glad that I don't know how to do my taxes.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think
sitting there on their triangular desk with their triangular lamp and triangular pen.
If I could go back in time, and
If I could turn back time.
if I could find a way, I would take back
Get
all
down
my
off that.
learning about English, and then I'd say if I could just learn accounting, I would do that too. And I'd love it, like right now I do with other things.
Are you still going with the share thing?
I'm trying to.
Yeah, right. I'm surprised you knew that much of the song.
It was one of the 350 from last year.
Fuck. It's a pretty good rating.
There's a bunch of other stuff in this episode. The Married with Children parody is the most perfect thing.
Well, the Married with Children parody has become the scene of Married with Children that I remember.
Me too, despite having seen quite a bit of Married with Children.
Yeah. It has become not only the shorthand, it's become the full fucking kahuna for what I think about Married with Children.
It is the perfect encapsulation of what that show was.
Yes.
The funny thing is, it kind of also captures why the show was kind of actually funny sometimes.
Yes. I mean, they had a toilet in the living room.
Yeah. What's funnier than that?
What's funnier than that?
So Homer's on the phone, calling up, you know, making crank calls, and he calls NASA, who have just been talking about they need to send an average Joe Schmo into space.
Yep.
And he calls him up, and then he calls Clinton, and he starts talking to Clinton about where to get some tang. Now, didn't we learn in the previous episode, hasn't Clinton just been indicted for murder?
I don't know, because the president that they drew in the previous episode is not Simpsons Clinton. And maybe Clinton's in because there's
they
other...
didn't actually draw Clinton, did they? It was just they mentioned Clinton.
Where?
At the end of the doll bit.
Oh no, I think the Simpsons have drawn a Clinton before.
Yeah.
He plays saxophone when he walks
Yeah,
past them.
he's in the show, but at the end of the previous episode on the news, they say the president has been indicted for murder. We don't see which president.
No, but isn't it when in that episode when the Malibu Stacy people call in a favor? Don't they call in the favor from the president, and that's the person we see sitting at the phone?
I don't think that was the president. Was it?
Didn't that spark a conversation between you and I where I said, which president's this? And then you and I sat on the couch trying to figure out which president it was?
Do we arrive at any conclusion to that?
No, we didn't, because what I'm saying is...
Because I don't think it was the president. It was just some goon. Maybe it was like a senator.
No,
Are you going to look it up?
I thought there was some clue in there where we thought it was the president.
I think you said it looked like Reagan. Because it did look like Reagan.
I'm not sure that it did. Call in favor. Spell favor the American way.
Call in a favor.
Favor.
I'm just going to say some other stuff while you're looking for that. Is that
that's
cool?
fine.
That's cool?
Fine, that's
okay. The guy repeatedly blackjacking Homer and Barney is good. Head trauma, funny, in my opinion.
Very funny.
Yes. Now, they get Barney, they get Homer, and suddenly they're competing to fly into space, which is kind of a weird thing that's happening in this episode.
Yeah.
There's a competition element.
Okay, so here are my thoughts. Right,
We got the screenshots.
It says it's time to call in a favor from Washington. We see the White House, and then that is, as far as I'm concerned, that's context clues of the Oval Office.
I reckon it could be the vice president, though.
Why would they call in a favor from the vice president?
Huh.
As a story device, I'm not sure that works.
Just seems very odd to have that and then have Clinton called out specifically in the next episode.
Because he's now in the office because he's not in jail for murdering someone.
Okay, so in the Simpsons universe, there's another president between HW and Clinton who's in office for like less than a year.
Less than a year.
Kills someone, is taken to prison.
Interesting. That's my view anyway.
Okay, well, who is that Norman?
Fuck. President
Norman.
That has a nice...
President Norman Montoya, maybe.
And he's now been demoted to colonel.
Yeah.
Because he's
in prison.
In prison. Interesting.
There's a line reading in this episode that has stuck with me in a weird way forever, where they're doing the press conference, and all the press are asking, "Is this a joke?" And one of them's called Toby something or another, and the NASA guy responds, "No, Toby."
It is an extraordinary line reading. Isn't it?
It's really stuck with me for some reason.
Yeah, I had a note that says, "Why is Barney a golfman?" I get they've dressed them up as normal American Joes, but like Homer dressed up as a chef, that's fine. He likes food. Barney, not a golfman.
Well, you cook quite a bit, and you play golf. Did you feel kind of attacked by this scene?
Yes.
Good.
The last thing I want to be considered as an average American.
Now, the bit where Barney hasn't had a drink and he starts doing backflips and singing "I'm the very model of a one major general."
Yep.
That is still the thing that I try to sing when I'm drunk, to prove that I'm not that drunk.
Oh, wow. Who cares about proving whether you're drunk or not?
Yeah, okay.
But
wow, who cares, idiot?
Hey, I didn't push you over. I'm not. I mean, I would always be drunk because I can never do that because I don't know what the words to that thing are. I do enjoy that Homer leaps wholeheartedly into a cartwheel and there was a man from Nantucket without checking that he has no space and hits the wall.
He does 2 cartwheels, still pretty good.
Yeah, it's pretty
for
good.
a man of his size and age.
It's more than I could do.
Yeah,
and
for
I'm
sure.
Less his size and less his age.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How many episodes do we have in which Barney annihilates Homer in a competitive field? Because we've got this, we've got Mr. Plow. Is there another one?
Is there a rule of 3?
Did they complete the triptych? Or is this another Buzz Cola situation?
This might be something we need to keep an eye out for, because off the top of my head I can't think of any, but there might be one. He was, in a flashback, he was going to do better than Homer at the college tests. That doesn't count, because he didn't actually do it.
Yeah, because Homer gets him drunk. Gives him his first taste of alcohol.
Alcohol. Interesting.
There's the one,
keep an eye
like,
out
in
for
a
that
few
one.
seasons' time, well, quite a few seasons' time, there's one where Barney goes sober, and this upsets Homer somehow, but I don't remember the full context of it, so we'll get to that eventually.
We'll get to that.
The scene where they watch the Itchy and Scratchy cartoon, and then it's about Itchy and Scratchy going into space and, you know, getting up to some mischief up there, those wacky characters. Did you ever see, or do you remember the tweet I made using that screenshot?
No.
One of my favourite tweets I think I've ever made.
Here we go. We're going into Tweet Corner.
Tweet corner. But to eat? Okay, so that episode, the scene of like Bart and Lisa laughing uproariously, and then Homer sitting up straight as a rod, staring at the TV, sweating, eyes wide.
White-knuckled holding onto the couch.
Now, do you remember when David Cameron fucked that pig? Or it was revealed that he had stuck his dick in a pig's mouth or something at some point?
Yes, as part of a hazing ritual at some fancy college at Cambridge.
And you know how there was an episode of the TV show Black Mirror in which the Prime Minister was forced by a terrorist to have sex with a pig live on TV?
Yes.
I believe I posted that screenshot with David Cameron watching the episode of Black Mirror about the pig.
Very, very good.
Yeah, so I was very happy with that. Did okay. Got,
Nice.
I don't know, I feel like it got over 100 likes, so it did fine.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Pretty good.
It wasn't quite the Gang Remakes The Last Jedi levels of popularity for my tweets. Still by far the most popular tweet I've ever made.
Yeah, that was crazy, wasn't it?
Yeah. 994,000 impressions, I think. Didn't quite get to 1 million, but you know.
Have you checked it recently? Maybe it's climbed up now.
I look at it every now and again. Maybe I need to, like, bring it back at some point. But I feel like the magic's gone at this point. I don't think it's going to get there.
I have no idea what my most popular tweet is.
No?
Is there a website that can tell me?
No, I don't think so. Or maybe there is. Who knows?
Yeah, fair enough.
We can look into that after the recording, maybe.
I guess so, yeah.
The whole concept of this episode is really goofy. Like, I was thinking about this the other day. I can't remember the context of why, but I was thinking, when did The Simpsons start to get really silly?
Yeah.
And I thought, maybe it's that one where Homer goes into space.
Yeah, and there was one of the things that I saw in this episode where I thought, oh, fuck, here we go, is earlier on when Bart draws on the back of Homer's head and Homer starts turning around because he wants to see what's written on the back of his head. And the joke goes on for a very, very long time to the point where the family start going, we can't laugh at this anymore.
Yeah.
And I was like, but Homer's not that fucking dumb. He's clumsy, but he's not like it's I think the where they start bending with the fluidity of Homer's intelligence too extreme, and you end up with the kind of Homer that we have now, which is just frustrating as fuck to watch because all the jokes are just, but he wouldn't say or think or do that.
Yeah, we're still a while from fully getting that Homer.
Yeah, but I think this is one of the, well, in the watching we've been doing, this is one of the first times where I've gone, here we go, early sign of complete numpty Homer.
Well, this is definitely one, like, I think this is a very good episode, but it's definitely one you watch and think, this is the point where they realize how much they could get away with.
Yeah.
Because this is a wild concept for an episode.
Yes.
Sending Homer into space.
Pretty dark that when Homer starts panicking on the launch pad, one of the astronauts asks, can we sedate the cargo ahead of schedule?
Yeah.
That's a dark line for a couple of reasons. And I also wonder, when shit starts going really, really wrong, you know, the chips and all that stuff, surely it would be better to sedate him then to get the fucking oaf out of the way so that the two highly trained people can just solve the friggin' problem.
What an oaf. Yeah, I mean,
what an oof.
If they have the means to sedate Homer, if they've got the bull tranquilizer or whatever it is they have up there, they should shoot him there and then.
Then and there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then dump his body out in space.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's all I had.
Yeah. What else did I have? This episode looks really good, especially once they're going up into space, like the shot of the Earth and Homer floating around with the chips. Like, that's logistically a pretty difficult thing to do in animation, I think.
Yeah, the lighting on the rotating chip.
Yeah.
Now it wouldn't be a problem with, ray tracing and all of that on the fancy bloody digital animators.
These fancy bloody digital animators, you know. Back in my day, we had to draw everything by hand. We worked our fingers down to the bone, we did.
And then we drew with the bones. The rotating chip's quite nice.
Yeah, it's lovely. And Homer crashes into maybe the most fragile ant colony ever built.
Yeah.
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 It's like it takes, and, you know, broken glass goes everywhere. It should really... I mean, that should be a real danger that there's broken glass just floating in zero gravity.
Yeah, the broken glass gets drastically overlooked, I think.
Yeah. I assume it was made of glass. You're not going to use, like, a hard plastic. The hard plastic's not going to shatter
It doesn't.
in Homer's head.
It doesn't make the note. It doesn't make the. It doesn't have the timbre of shattering plastic.
I mean, if the glass is going to shatter as well, Homer must be hitting it so hard, he's at real risk of being killed.
Possibly.
Maybe he does die. Maybe it's a death dream after this.
That'd be curious, wouldn't it?
Yeah. So then we get James Taylor. James Taylor, he's there with his little guitar.
With his unique brand of bittersweet folk rock.
Yes. And he's playing this song that has this line. This is from the commentary that I listened to years and years ago and mysteriously remember part of.
Yes.
Where that song is playing, you know, the line, Sweet Dreams and Flying Machines lie in pieces on the ground that he thinks of and then has to change while he's singing. Apparently that line in the song, if I'm remembering this anecdote properly, was about a friend of his who was in a plane crash and was killed. And they, like, ask him, like, in the writing room, like, they ask him when he comes in, like, can you do this joke? And he's like, well, this song's awfully personal to me, but yeah, okay.
Fuck. That's brutal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then we get the footage of the ants in the ship, and we get Kent Brockman immediately capitulating to the ants, which has me thinking, do you remember the days after the 2016 American election?
Yeah.
And just the wealth of sudden articles about how we just have to, like, try to get along with Trump, and,
Yeah.
you know, maybe things won't be so bad if we just capitulate to him, and I, for one, welcome,
Well, I was going to say that...
I try to think of, like, what's a thing I can say about Trump that isn't just making fun of the fact that he looks like shit, and, you know, he's just a bad guy.
Yeah.
He's a bad man.
Yeah. Badman.
Yeah.
The note I have for that is that I, for one, welcome our insect overlords has become the kind of thoughtless shorthand response to every mild snark on Twitter whenever anything vaguely political happens.
Yeah.
And it's one of those quotes that's been so co-opted by normies that I'm just I no longer find the joy in it that I once found.
Is that an I voted for Kodos, which has been terribly misused over,
Yes.
which is like, yeah, we'll
Yeah.
get into that eventually.
There's all the Kodos bros. Kodos would have won.
Kodos would have won, yeah, it was a big movement. Kodos 2012.
Yeah, but what about Kang's emails? You know,
Now, the inanimate...
that's not part of Bernie Bro mythology, the emails thing. That's
no,
the
yeah,
other
it's
side.
the whole thing.
But
We're making general jokes
I'm
about
playing
politics.
fast and loose.
The inanimate carbon rod. I'd like to talk about the rod for a moment. Years and years ago, do you
You're not
remember
going
that?
to talk about the silicon life form, Todd?
I'm not going to talk about Judy at all. We're going to stay right out of it. Do you remember Sneaky Peeks? Do you remember the...
We are like the dreamer who dreams and then lives inside the dream.
that trend for a while of people making pages on Facebook that would be like, can this potato get more likes than like Robert Pattinson? Did you ever see the page that I made during that time?
No.
It was called, Can This Inanimate Carbon Rod Get More Fans Than That Thing You Hate?
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, I thought that was okay. That was a cute little thing, not
That's a
making
cute
fun of
little
anyone
thing.
specific. It got about 120 likes, I think.
Oh, yeah.
And I still get occasional updates like saying 0 new likes this week. Maybe you'd like to update the details on the page.
Wouldn't have thought so.
Don't think I'm going to do that anytime soon.
I
think the joke has run its course.
Not sure if you got this, but I got a notification the other day from a Facebook page's manager saying, maybe add a mobile phone number to the Pods in the Kia Springfield
I
page.
get that all the time.
I'm like, not doing that.
No, don't want people calling me about the podcast.
No, thank you.
Unless we ever do a reply all style call-in show.
But then we'll just use a Google number or whatever, however
Or
they
a
do
Google
it.
number, la-di-da.
Well, we're not going to use one of our real phone numbers.
No, I suppose I'm not going to put my phone number 042. You know my phone number.
0438. That's for any dum-dum fans that listen.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Do you mean the podcast or just any fans who are dum-dums?
Column A, column B. The Venn diagram of fans of...
If any of our fans are real dum-dums, it's a real stupid, then they can call this number.
The Venn diagram of fans of the Little Dum Dum Club and Dum Dum fans is just a circle.
Okay.
Yeah. And I say that as a fan
You
of the
include
Dum Dum
yourself.
Club. Yeah, I do.
So at the end, you asked me what the reference at the end is with Homer floating around in space where he gets hit by the satellite.
Yes.
That is from 2001: A Space Odyssey and its sequel, which I think is called 2010, the year we made contact. I've never seen the sequel.
Sure.
But it's a 2001 thing. It's a Stanley Kubrick thing.
Ah, I've heard
Stanley
of him.
Kubrick, who, as we know, faked the moon landing.
Yeah, sure. Stanley Kubrick is the thing that is thrown by Stanley Koo Ignatz in Stanley Koo Crazy Cat.
Yep, that's that's good. That's a fair comment, and that's the one we should end the podcast on.
Yep.
So this has been Pods in the Key of Springfield, a podcast
Pods.
largely about the theory that Stanley Kubrick faked the moon landing
In the Key of
and
Springfield.
used The Shining to admit his complicity in the faking. A theory that neither of us believe because it's obviously not true. They did land on the moon.
Yeah.
Don't worry about it.
Yeah, totally.
You can find us on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. I forgot to update the Instagram this week. Fuck.
Who cares?
You can email us, podsinthekeyofspringfield@gmail.com.
Yeah.
You can find us. We're around, don't try to find us.
We'll just be down the shops.
Yep. Wizard Wazzle.
Careful, they're ruffled.
Bye.
I thought my intonation was pretty good on that one.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah. All right. You seem so annoyed.
No.
In Springfield.
Thank you for passing me my notes. I'm glad that you did not look at them.
Yeah, assume you want your phone as well.
Yep, I'm also
You
gonna,
can fiddle and fuddle.
I'm also going to do a quick refill of my sparkling water, but I'm going to do that on mic because it's going to be a very nice sound.
Okay. Well, I might refill my water as well. I don't know if we should both leave the mic at the same time or not, though. Everything will be fine.
Who cares? It's a pre-record.
Everything is gonna be alright. Rockabye. Sean Mullins, if you are out there and would like to be on the podcast. Is Sean Mullins still alive?
a wedge of lime and an ice cube?
Yeah, more than anything. Well, maybe not more than anything, but enough to say yes. And thank you. Oh, thank you. I get that ice clink Foley.
Brother of wrestler Mick Foley.
Yep.
Actually, what I'm going to do... Oh, fuck. Did that too far forward. I'm going to put that onto... Which mode is the one where it just goes straight forward? I think it's this one.
It just goes straight forward.
Where it only picks up on this side of the mic. Just to get the... Yeah. That sounded good.
Even without the headphones, that had an effect on me.
Man, that was pleasing as fuck with the headphones on. Thank me later, listeners.
Welcome to Pods in the Key of Springfield, the ASMR podcast.
Oh, we're going to do an ASMR version.
Sure.
I'll give it a go.
I don't know that I fully understand what ASMR is, but as I understand it, you talk slowly and calmly, and sometimes you whisper a little bit.
Autosensory Meridian Response, I believe, is what it stands for.
Okay.
Which is interesting, because it's an experience that I had felt for a long time as a kid and had never been able to put into words what it was.
And then you heard audio sensory meridian.
Response, and I went, oh, that!
Oh, that's the meridian thing that's been going on
Yes, yeah, someone
in
described
my
the
ear holes.
someone described the feeling, and I was like, oh, that you mean that thing that I've always had and have never had a word for. And I find it really interesting that whenever anyone hears about ASMR for the first time, and it's like, it's like a nice tingly feeling down the back of your neck and spine when you hear certain sounds, or for some people it's triggered by certain visual things, and it's just this really, and everyone goes, oh, okay, so it's a sexual thing. No, in the same way that sometimes you eat a burrito and go, this is a great burrito, it doesn't mean that you want to fuck the burrito.
Nick, I've been wanting to fuck my burrito for a while now. Is this a thing that I shouldn't be doing? You
can do whatever you want. It's just that people shouldn't leap to the conclusion of, this is a feeling I enjoy, means, oh, that's an inherently sexual thing.
Yeah. I was going to say I believe you. I mean, I agree with you.
I believe you. Thousands wouldn't. I
believe you can eat a burrito without needing to fuck it as well.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm a modern man. I don't need to fuck all my food.
And you can sometimes I just have food with benefits.
Those benefits being carb loading.
Yes, the only benefit to food, as far as I could see. I just threw away my Bluetooth speaker because it was in the way, and then I thought, A, it wasn't really in the way, and B, what if I want to fucking pull up a song?
I mean, if anything, having something impeding you from doing that is probably a good thing, right?
Point taken.